Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Coaches Show. We're heading into week 3 here, and Coach Craig Williams from Columbus High joining me, John Kipper on the far end, Coach. And you are smiles this week, I'm sure, after a big win against Bennington. And you guys have certainly started off the year pretty strong. Give me a synopsis of what you got from the win.
Well, you know, it's right where we want to be, and you know, our kids, they came out from the get-go on Friday night and just did a tremendous job, both offensively and defensively. You know, defense pitching a shutout. You know, we weren't perfect on either side of the ball, but you know, we're good enough to put up 44 and hold them to 0, and at the end of the night, that's all that matters.
You know, just kind of go back and look at film, some key things kind of went in your direction in a few ways. Obviously, you guys had some tough breaks with some penalties there, but the team really rose to the occasion. As we kind of look through some highlights, obviously one thing that'll stick out is Michael Cook's performance on the ground. Not something new, I don't think, to Columbus fans, but kind of looking back on the performance, it seems like he's improved and his vision's gotten a little better.
Yeah, and you know, he's just gotten, his body's a little bit bigger, he's a little bit stronger. So he kind of bounces off some of the tackles. He's much harder to bring down. I mean, so standing at 6'4", 6'4 and a half, 6'5", he's a strong kid. And of course, we all know about how fast he is once he gets out in the open field, and he's had the opportunity to show that a couple times here in the first 2 weeks.
That one, it kind of came down underneath the screen, but you had Esch there. But talk a little bit about his performance too.
Yeah, you know, Caleb is a guy I think he had 10 carries for 50 yards on Friday night. But, you know, we would like to see him hit up there around the 100 mark and get 14 carries. You know, the thing is, a lot of what we do in the run game is a read and an option type thing for our quarterback, and we're going to take what the defense gives us. And right now, the defense has given us Michael Cook on the ground, so that's what we've been taking.
Bennington started off the game pretty well. They drove down the field slowly but surely, and you guys made a stop, I believe, around the 10-yard line on 4th down. Do you think that was a turning point in the game where you guys really took control? Was there one? I guess talk a little bit about that.
Well, yeah, you know, that spot right there, that was certainly a confidence boost to our defense. And but then, you know, we turn around and we get the ball back and we score on our second possession. You know, and then we have a defensive touchdown. We have a kickoff return for a touchdown. So, you know, it was a 3-phase game for us, and we played better in all 3 phases than we did in week 1, which we said we had to do. You know, and we just got to keep improving on those things.
Defensively, only giving up 7 points thus far in the season. Is that the type of output you expected?
Well, we thought that we could be pretty good on that side of the ball. You know, we figured, though, that we would give up, you know, a few points here and there. You know, but we are very athletic. You know, we talk about how athletic we are in offense. Those same kids are on defense. So, you know, as long as they keep flying around, yeah, we might give up a few yards, and there's things that we got to fix. But, you know, we're not real big. But we're going to have to use our athleticism to try to keep teams out of the end zone, and so far we've done a good job with that.
Here's the kickoff return, and Brash, what a performance he had, just a sophomore, and he had some good stats there in the first game, but certainly I think fans getting a glimpse of kind of the potential he has for the rest of the season and the rest of his career. What's it been like seeing him kind of explode onto the scene?
Yeah, and you know, I think Joey's also seeing what he can do. Also, he's starting to come into his own, get more confidence, and you know, that run right there was perfect for him to realize that he can run through some tackles, he can outrun some guys, and you know, he had good vision there also, cutting back across the field and finding that hole.
When we talked after the game, you mentioned how you really liked how your young guys came in, scored a touchdown, made a stop. How does that help your team out in the future?
Well, you know, and I think it carried over to Monday night's JV game. We went down to Hastings and won a game 27-12 on Monday night. And then this week, and when they've been running scout team for us, it's been tough. And our younger guys are starting to get better, and the scout team's starting to get better, and that's going to help us on the varsity level for the rest of the year.
Let's look ahead to the week here. Of course, Brandon and myself will be here with Grand Island Northwest versus you guys. John will be over in Palmer versus Birdwell. But a team that likes to throw it in the air. You guys run those 3 safeties in the backfield. It's going to be a different look than what you've seen, certainly at the level they play at. What's kind of the game plan?
Well, you know, I think their strengths match our strengths a little bit. You know, the game plan all week has just been watch film and get to know their route combinations as good as we can, so we can recognize things early, we can recognize formations and any tendencies they do have, and not the coaching staff, but the kids, to get those things down, know where to be on the field to break up passes. And so defensively, that's been our game plan. And like I said, they do throw the ball a lot. I do think that our strengths match their strengths and vice versa. So it's going to be fun to see who comes out on top on Friday night.
Last week you mentioned that Bennington would take their shots down the field. They did that, and they found a few open opportunities, a few drops, a few just missed opportunities from the Badger side. Northwest, they can also throw the ball maybe better than Bennington. Is that something you've really been keen on practice?
Yeah, and when we watched the film on Monday morning on Friday night, the first thing we told our kids when those missed opportunities that Bennington had came up, we said Grand Island's not going to miss on those. So we've got to clean those things up. We can't have any blown coverages or anything like that. And to be honest, they've done a tremendous job in practice communication. They've done their homework on the film. Got one more day to clean things up and polish things up. But I feel really good about where we're at defensively right now.
When you guys look at attacking the offensive side and kind of game planning there, is there anything specific you guys have been focusing on in this practice? Obviously, you talked about the read option. That, when you watch that game, obviously that's been a huge success for you. Forcing them to decide, do we cover the athletic back? Do we cover the athletic quarterback? What's the focus for practice been this week?
Well, the focus has been, basically to attack their aggression. They're a very aggressive defense. They got some outside linebackers that really get downhill and get after you. So we've been trying to find ways to take that aggression away from them. A couple different wrinkles here and there, and again, find different ways to get our athletes in space because teams are going to scout us and teams are going to keep making adjustments to what we've been doing.
I thought someone who was fun to watch on the goal line, Leon, and we've talked about him before, but one time, too, he kind of just got flipped in the air and just, yeah. And I know his brother, I talked to his brother afterwards who's on your coaching staff, and he said, yeah, man, I don't know, don't hurt yourself. Right. but what's it been like implementing him in the offense more and more?
Well, yeah, it's a way that we can get an extra running back on the game when we do the Wildcat stuff and put him in there at quarterback, and we can get an extra power back in there, and teams know what we're going to do. We're going to run it right downhill at them. We're going to get the ball to Juan and let him run downhill. They just got to stop it. So far, we've been successful with what we've done, and you're right. Juan's got to keep his feet on the ground. He doesn't have a very big vertical anyway, so he's got to keep those feet down and stay safe.
You guys have been leading in every game and often 2 blowout victories so far. Northwest, a team that could certainly jump on you quickly, say they get a 14-0 lead. How confident are you that your team will respond well?
Well, we actually talked about that in practice today because there was a couple plays that didn't go our way in practice, and we kind of challenged them, and said, hey, we haven't had that adversity strike, too hard on us in a game. So we got to figure out how we're going to react to that. So let's see what we can do today in practice and use that in the game on Friday.
Well, Coach, thanks for coming back this week. We appreciate it, and best of luck. We're excited to see you on Friday.
All right, thank you, guys.
All right, guys, we'll be back with Coach Kurt Frenza from Lakeview here in just a second on the Coaches Show. Stay tuned.
My husband and I farm north of Blair. We know few things are as important to Nebraskans as land. In fact, many of us who work for TransCanada in Nebraska grew up here. Like me, they're passionate about land, water, and wildlife, the very things we work hard to protect. As an environmental specialist, I'm committed to working together to care for the environment. It's a responsibility I take very seriously. After all, Nebraska is our home, too.
These are my people. This is the place that I come from. This is my piece of this America I love. There's nothing like it. From sea to shining sea. This is where I live, and there's no place I'd rather be. This is where I live, and there's no place I'd rather be. Yeah. These are my neighbors. This is the team that I stand for. This is my daylight, all night world, and so much more. This is my hometown. These are my friends and family. This is where I live, and there's no place I'd rather be. This is where I live, and there's no place I'd rather be. Yeah, there's nowhere else on earth that feels so good to me. This is where I live, and there's no place I'd rather be.
At Bank of the Valley, our commitment has always been to our customers and the communities we serve. Bank of the Valley is supporting our area schools by introducing the first School Pride Cards, a Visa check card with your choice of custom design for your local school. New and current customers can earn cash for the school of their choice by choosing one of 16 School Pride card designs. The Bank of the Valley School Pride card can be used anytime, anywhere. Show your school pride this year and sign up today by visiting any one of the 5 Bank of the Valley locations.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Coaches Show. Kirk Frenza from Lakeview joining us now, along with John Kipper, of course. I'm Gray Knott. And, Coach, of course, a tough week. Obviously, you faced a really talented Norfolk Catholic team. Didn't get the outcome you wanted. Was there any positives you were able to take away?
Yeah, I thought we played with a really good effort to start the game, and we made them earn everything they got in the first half. And, we were within 6 points until, a minute or so left in the first half, and we just couldn't move the ball with any consistency on offense to complement what our defense was giving us.
A tough injury, obviously, there in the first quarter. We talked about, too, with Thatch, and hopefully he makes a good return here for the rest of the season because he's just a fun player to watch. As far as his overall performance and not having him in, do you think that had a big impact on you guys?
Well, anytime you take a guy that had 300 and some yards the week before in a game and he comes out, maybe you game planned him in quite a bit and running the football, obviously that changes things a little bit. But we have capable backs that can step in, and between Zeth Gerkensmeyer and Jaden Johnson stepped in a little bit. Those guys all kind of contribute, and it'll be by committee to fill a void a little bit there.
Norfolk Catholic, one of the top teams in the entire state this season. What do they do so well? How are they giving you problems?
Well, they're very well disciplined. They're very well coached, and they don't make a lot of mistakes, and they play with great effort. And those are things that don't change with their program. But they're very talented up front. They're very big. They have 2 all-state caliber running backs in the same backfield. So it's one of those things that they kind of have all the pieces of the puzzle, and they go out and execute, and good things usually happen for them.
I think as we kind of just go through some highlights and stuff and kind of wrap up on this week, we'll look forward to next week a little bit more here. But you guys did have some nice plays where you guys were punching off 10, 15 yards or something like that, and then you were having some nice defensive stops as far as the run game goes, and you talk about having to fill some of that void and being confident. Are you also in the pass game? Are you feeling a little confident going into this week? Are you going to implement that much coming up?
Well, we worked on it quite a bit this week. We just didn't have a lot of consistency in the passing game last week, obviously by the stats that are there, but it was kind of a combination of several things. Some of it's pass protection, some of it's just timing, but we need to improve because we play a little bit bigger teams and a lot of teams that have a lot of depth like Norfolk Catholic. Got to throw the football a little bit, and we didn't do it with, like I said, with great consistency. So we'll continue to try and improve in that area, and just be a balanced team.
You mentioned their 2 backs. How did you end up slowing them down in the first half? I mean, just a minute or so left. They only had 6 points. What were you guys doing, and then what kind of fell apart in the second half?
Well, we did a lot of run blitzes. We tried to get upfield with our guys and bring a lot of people and get to them before they made their first cut. And that was something that benefited us. Our game plan, it was good to see our defensive game plan get executed by our kids at a high level, and we made them earn everything. They had great field position the whole first half. We played on our side of the field the whole first half, and our kids did a great job of fighting and battling and keeping them out. And like I said, if we could just move the ball with some consistency and complement our defense the other night, I thought it might have been a little bit different ball game. Wouldn't have got away from us like it did, and end up being that 34-7 score like it was.
Obviously, sometimes those games can escalate a little bit more in the second half. Just a few things not going your way. But as you look to this next week, how do the kids kind of respond as we find ourselves about midway through?
Well, I thought we had a great week of practice. Labor Day is always an interesting week, and to have our kids come in on Monday, and we had a full practice on Monday. You're always kind of concerned on what type of attitude they're going to bring. But I thought they brought good attitude on Monday, and they followed up with a nice JV reserve win last night against North Bend Central. We won that game 33-16. So, we had first couple days, and then getting into Wednesday today, I thought we really had a good day today. I thought maybe it was our best day of the practice, best practice day of the week. So I was excited on how we just kind of build each day leading up to the game night.
What specifically were you guys doing well in practice, and what did you have to make sure you do well on Friday?
Well, we got a couple kids back, which was huge. And you'd think they were kind of the starters for our team, but they aren't starters for our team. They're actually guys that are running 1 and 2 scout team guys for us. So Braden Kuchera came back, and Aaron Peterson came back, and both of those guys are guys that we need in our practice and our prep squad. Aaron is a guy that's actually on some special teams for us, so it was good to get him back. But both those guys provide a great look for us, and the competitiveness that we had this week in practice was a lot better than maybe it had been the first couple weeks of the season.
As you guys kind of game plan for this week, what are some keys for you on offense? We'll get to defense here in a little bit. But some keys on offense if you guys are going to be successful and kind of rebound and get that W.
Well, like they are every week. Got to take care of the football first and foremost. We've got to win the turnover battle, which we have not done yet this year. And last year at this time, I know we were plus in the turnover ratio, and right now we're sitting at -1 or 2. So, That can't happen, and we've got to get better at that. And we go to Fort Calhoun, that's going to be a huge key to the game. We're going to have to get some first downs and churn out some drives. Right now, the first game against Milford, quite honestly, were all chunk plays, big plays. We didn't have a really downfield 15-play drive type of night, and obviously we didn't have that last week against Norfolk Catholic. We had the one scoring drive at the end, but I'd like to see us, get a drive. I'd like to see us get a drive where we're getting 4 and 5 and 6 yards of play. I'll take the big plays, don't get me wrong, when they come. I'm not going to turn those away, but that shows some consistency with your team, shows some mental toughness, shows some physicality amongst your linemen when you can get those big drives like that.
You mentioned you're trying to win the turnover battle. What specifically
Can you do in practice? Are you someone that's making your running backs take a football to math class, or how are you doing it?
Yeah, we're not the movie The Program from the 90s or anything like that, but what we do is we obviously have ball security stations that we do each and every day, and we focus on our defense and trying to create turnovers as well. So those are things that we try to generate positives for our turnover ratio in practice. A lot of it's just rallying the football on game night on defense, and then offensively just making sure you're playing through the whistle.
Jaden Johnson's one of those kids I think that's really exciting to watch, and I'm sure teams are keying on, specifically Fort Calhoun will be looking at him coming into this week. What does he need to do to be successful, I guess, and kind of help propel you guys?
Well, Cage Jansen's actually kind of came in and taken over our number one quarterback position as we speak right now. They're both playing, but Cage is getting the majority of the reps, and Jaden's actually been rotating a little bit at H, a little bit at fullback. He's playing some quarterback as well. He scored our touchdown last week, but game one, Cage came in and got reps and kind of has held on to that job. They both have done really good things, so it's a good problem for our coaching staff to have because we feel very confident in either quarterback putting them in there, and it's been a great, healthy competition with both kids. They've had great attitudes.
Yeah, and obviously two very good athletes. Is it weird kind of adjusting in your offense of the players on the offensive line and the obviously the skill positions too responded well?
Yeah, they've been great. We've talked about those guys don't need to get wrapped up in his back. They need to play the exact same. And for me as a coach, I'm fortunate that they're pretty similar in skill set, so they both can run the ball really well, and they take their shots when they need to downfield. So and I thought Cage has really grown in his mental aspect of the game this year. And like I said, it's just been a great, good, positive battle between both kids, and it's something that's actually benefiting our team, and I think instead of taking away from it.
Coach, we actually start wrapping up here as we get ready for Coach Linder to come in here. But Coach, appreciate you coming in and excited to see how you guys do against Fort Calhoun. Certainly a good matchup.
Yeah, it's going to be a battle. It's two teams that are looking to definitely improve their record, and Fort Calhoun's 2-0, and we'll see if we can't get them their first loss this year.
Yeah, hey, well, we'll keep an eye on them. Be sure to stay tuned for News Channel Nebraska and Columbus News Team for results of that matchup. But Coach Frenzen, appreciate you joining us. For John Kipper, I'm Gray Knott. We'll be back next with Coach Linder from SCOTUS to get a look on what their matchup is coming up this next week. Stay tuned.
My husband and I farm north of Blair. We know few things are as important to Nebraskans as land. In fact, many of us who work for TransCanada in Nebraska grew up here. Like me, they're passionate about land, water, and wildlife, the very things we work hard to protect. As an environmental specialist, I'm committed to working together to care for the environment. It's a responsibility I take very seriously. After all, Nebraska is our home too.
At Bank of the Valley, our commitment has always been to our customers and the communities we serve. Bank of the Valley is supporting our area schools by introducing the first School Pride Cards, a Visa check card with your choice of custom design for your local school. New and current customers can earn cash for the school of their choice by choosing one of 16 School Pride Card designs. The Bank of the Valley School Pride Card can be used anytime, anywhere. Show your school pride this year and sign up today by visiting any one of the 5 Bank of the Valley locations.
It's our privilege to make a healthy difference in Columbus, and it shows in all we do. Columbus Community Hospital is community-owned, which creates a culture built on commitment, compassion, and care. We nurture this strong sense of community in every decision and interaction, helping enhance the lives of patients we're proud to call friends and neighbors. It's no wonder community is our middle name. Learn more about our quality care and career opportunities today.
These are my people. This is the place that I come from. This is my piece of this America I love. There's nothing like it. sea to shining sea. This is where I live and there's no place I'd rather be. This is where I live and there's no place I'd rather be. Yeah, these are my neighbors. This is the team that I stand for. This is my daylight, all night world and so much more. This is my hometown. These are my friends and family. This is where I live and there's no place I'd rather be. This is where I live and there's no place I'd rather be. Yeah, there's nowhere else on earth that feels so good to me. This is where I live and there's no place I'd rather be.
Hey guys, welcome back for the final segment of the Coaches Show this week. We're heading into week 3. Coach Lender joining us here from SCOTUS. Coach, how are you doing?
Doing very well. Thanks for having me.
You guys have had 2 tough opponents here to start the season off, but certainly when you look at the film and stuff, you guys are doing some really nice things. What are some takeaways you had from that game this past weekend against Bishop?
You know, it was a really tough game. It was a real defensive battle. You know, my hat goes off to Coach Turman and their squad there. Wonderful, wonderful team. They probably the best front we're going to see all year long. They've got an amazing offensive and defensive line, so it proved to be a challenge. You know, I think our defense really made some huge strides from week 1 to week 2. You know, only giving up 14 points defensively. You know, we gave up another one in the special teams game, but you know, you take away actually their one big run in the fourth quarter when the game was kind of starting to get out of touch. You know, we actually out-yarded them on offense if you minus that. But hey, I'd like to be able to subtract some other things from the game as well.
I saw you guys had some really nice passes too as we look through all these highlights and stuff, but you had a couple nice plays there on offense where you guys are spreading it out, and maybe passing is something that fans maybe aren't quite as familiar with when they're watching SCOTUS football, but it seemed to be a really nice compliment to your game.
Yeah, you know, much credit goes to Coach Pellon for putting together a good game plan. You know, I think, you know, we had to be able to soften the box a little bit. You know, when we're such a heavy run-oriented teams start putting 8, 9 guys in the box at times. And so, Caden Pellon, even Tyler Palmer late in the game came in and threw some very nice balls that kind of forced them to take a step back outside the box and open up things in our run game. So happy with that progression from SCOTUS.
You guys mentioned you gave up a special teams touchdown. Talk to me about a little bit that blocked punt and how that ended up breaking down.
Yeah, you know, it was late in the first half. You know, we were trying to get out of our own end zone, and you know, we had everything lined up, but they kind of lined up in a different front than we're used to. They actually went 5-by-3 instead of 4-by-4, and we've practiced all those things, but you know, kind of threw our counts off a little bit. And so, you know, when you're expecting to block a 4-by-4 and you don't communicate properly, you know, you kind of open up windows, and they've got one more guy than we can block over there, and so it really just opened really well for them. And again, to their credit, got a paw on it and was able to get it to roll, you know, into the end zone, and they fell on it for a quick score.
What has been the general mood of practice over the past few days? Obviously, SCOTUS not that used to starting 0-2, and especially the kids that you have now. Have they still been pretty upbeat?
Yeah, you know, we've got a great group of young men that I'm privileged to coach every single day, and they show up ready to work every single day. And so, you know, the mood is not as high as it can be. You know, we're not used to being, you know, a losing program by any means, but it's still very early in the season. And our kids know that if they just keep their nose to the grindstone and they continue to work hard and improve every single week, that our goals are still intact. You know, I'm not going to kid anybody and say non-district opponents aren't important, because every game matters. We want to be 1-0 every single week, but as long as we set ourselves up for success, you know, in district play, there's always that opportunity to still make the playoffs. And so, you know, we've still got 2 non-district opponents, Pierce this week and Aquinas the week after, and so we're going to work hard to perfect us and get us to a position for postseason success.
First half, we saw some of those highlights in the passing game that we talked about, but the running game certainly looking very good here, and you need a little mobility out of the quarterback slot, which a coach always likes to see. But can you talk a little bit about the ground and pound?
Yeah, you know, I'm very happy with Coach Pellon and his game plan. He has a tough task trying to distribute the ball, and so when you have a slew of running backs and several good fullbacks and even some split ends that can make waves, you gotta distribute well to keep guys fresh, to keep guys motivated, but it also keeps defenses very, very honest. And so, just when they start to shut down our outside jet or stretch game, we can pound them, in between the tackles with our fullbacks. And so that helps everybody, not only with our depth and with our conditioning, but also keeps teams very, very honest.
You mentioned Newman has one heck of a line. What were they doing in the game to give you guys trouble?
Yeah, again, very big, very stout, extremely well coached, and so a lot of times we try to generate double teams to work up to linebackers, but we couldn't leave the first level because they're just very talented up front. So their linebackers made a lot of plays, and even when we're like, you've got to climb, well, if you don't take care of first level first, you're getting nothing. So again, hats off. There's a lot of all-state potential on that Newman front.
Let's move to this upcoming week here on Friday. You guys are taking on Pierce, and certainly the way you guys match up, it looks like a very winnable game for you guys. What's kind of the game plan? Obviously, I know you're not telling your guys that, except be focused and ready to go, I assume.
Yeah, I have the utmost confidence that we have the opportunity to win every game that we stand up to. So we talk about it all the time that we expect to win this ball game, and we do it by executing fundamentals, right, and executing the game plan and just trusting each other. Our big focus, every week, but more particular this week, is DYJ. Do your job. You don't have to do anything outside of yourself. You follow the scheme, you follow your rules, and the chain is as strong as its weakest link. So as long as you perfect yourself and you do your job well, we're gonna align ourselves to win this thing in the fourth quarter.
You guys need the WWJD bracelet and the DYJ bracelet underneath.
I'll take both.
Yes.
2 games into the season, what's the biggest thing you need to improve on still?
There's a lot of things. I think that we can always be better blockers. We can always be better tacklers. But I think the big things are just making sure we're all on the same page with our communication, and it shows with the amount of penalty yards we've had, especially pre-snap penalties. Guys not lining up on the line of scrimmage when they're supposed to. 2 guys going in motion. Those little things are what are really driving me nuts as a head coach. And so if there's an area of improvement that I've really focused on this last week is just that. Taking care of those small things.
Tyler Palmer has been fun to watch in the backfield there. Has he exceeded your expectations being a running back and moving from quarterback?
Yeah, he's made that transition with a lot of grace and poise. A lot of young men will take it as an insult to be moved from a quarterback spot, a position with high prominence, surrounding it. But he's done it with the understanding that it's team first. And so he's exceeded my expectations in that aspect. And again, he's fast, and it's not just track fast, he's football fast. And so he can do a lot of very impressive things with the ball in his hand. So he's again, still taking snaps at our quarterback, position just in case, something happens where he's got to play there a little bit. But, extremely happy with his running ability. Now, I think he would admit this as well, and so would our other running backs, that we've got to do a better job blocking at that running back position as well. Our offense is predicated not just on running the ball, but blocking extremely effectively with those wing backs. And so another area that, Mr. Palmer and company can improve on.
In terms of defense, you guys had a very good defensive game against Newman. Who was out there making plays?
A lot of guys stepped up to the plate. I'm very, again, impressed with our defensive line. Now, you'll watch it on film and go, man, that guy got tossed around a little bit. But when they battle hard down there, it keeps our linebackers free to make plays. So, if anything, I'm very impressed with our defensive line play, and in particular, one guy by the name of Ren Allen, who's a returning, honorable mention all-district guy on the offensive side. He's played a lot of linebacker for me in the past, but we moved him down to the D-line to kind of really beef up against those really talented guys. So very happy with that defensive front.
Well, Coach, best of luck this week. We're certainly glad to have you back this week, and hope you guys can come back next week with a W.
Hey, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
All right, guys, for John Kipper and Coach Linder here, I'm Grant Ott. Thanks for tuning into the Coaches Show. We'll see you next week.
It's our privilege to make a healthy difference in Columbus, and it shows in all we do. Columbus Community Hospital is community-owned, which creates a culture built on commitment, compassion, and care. We nurture this strong sense of community in every decision and interaction, helping enhance the lives of patients we're proud to call friends and neighbors. It's no wonder community is our middle name. Learn more about our quality care and career opportunities today.
At Bank of the Valley, our commitment has always been to our customers and the communities we serve. Bank of the Valley is supporting our area schools by introducing the first School Pride Cards, a Visa check card with your choice of custom design for your local school. New and current customers can earn cash for the school of their choice by choosing one of 16 School Pride card designs. The Bank of the Valley School Pride card can be used anytime, anywhere. Show your school pride this year and sign up today by visiting any one of the 5 Bank of the Valley locations.